Happy New Year! Welcome back to Tetris Tuesdays at 10. I'm Ryan, and what a year it's been so far. um, we are playing a Tetris game every Tuesday. I don't often explain what I'm doing here up at the top of the show. I figure it's self-explanatory, this being Tuesday at 10 a.m., and shortly they're going to be a Tetris, but figured I might as well explain a little bit about what I'm doing here at any point in time ever. But what I'm doing here is playing a new Tetris, every Tuesday at 10 a.m., going roughly chronologically, but also depending on if I can get the game, if I can get it up and running, doing a lot by emulation here. I was able to, well, no, I guess technically I've got a couple FPGA devices, so where those aren't technically emulation, it's not being emulated, but for the most part I've been emulating. And it's been working out great, actually. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you agree. But this week is maybe the most interesting one. I mean, that's a loaded statement. It's interesting because in choosing the Tetrises that I have been choosing, I've been shying away from either games on platforms that are too similar to other games, like if it's a port. There were some amongst I think it was like the Amiga and the Atari ST were often like just about the same. The bulletproof software versions, when we went back and forth between all those Japanese personal computers, were pretty close, but where the variations in design or color even, or music was enough, I would still bring one in. So this week it's different because I don't even know how much Tetris I'm going to get to. It's the Nintendo World Championships version of the game, which is different than the NES version that we played last time, 2 weeks ago now. It doesn't look different, but there are a few changes to it. But interestingly enough, the Nintendo World Championships from 1990 were quite the to-do. I remember them vaguely as a child. I remember the movie The Wizard vaguely as a child. Not that has much. It's similar type of format. That was like a narrative version. The real Nintendo Championships that went on were first kind of a touring city type thing, and they all still carried the Nintendo brand, but this was like each city had to kind of send their best of the best. But the city competitions sound bonkers. They were 3-day affairs, and just to give you an idea, I tried to look up. This is going to have a little bit of a preamble here because once we get to the game, it's not going to take that long. So maybe we'll play it twice through and it still won't take that long. But the city championships, just to give you an idea of how my score will compare, in that it will not, they had to qualify for the semifinals over 2 rounds. The first round the player had to score at least 175,000 points. So to get even, that was like bottom of the barrel. That's what you had to do. And then after that, if you made it all the way to Sunday night, you had to compete 7 players at once and get at least 200,000 points. So again, low bar, I'm told. But I have I had to practice this one a little bit because it being a, Tetris Tuesday, I wanted to make sure we got maximum amount of Tetris. Also, the cartridge is a little weird. So, in fact, to talk about that a little bit, this is, if anybody's heard about, a super expensive Nintendo cartridge, this is probably the one. The cartridge that they used for the championship, which the winners got one, or maybe just the participants got one. We don't know how many are out there necessarily, talking about the gray cartridge so far. last count, because now these are getting kind of documented, especially as they become more collectible. You know, they'll get slabbed and graded, and there'll be a record of them. I guess by 2023, or sorry, by 2020, we knew there were 353 out there. So I don't know if that number's gone up a little bit, probably at this point, but probably not by much. Then what Nintendo did is they had a some sort of a contest. I don't know if it was mail-in or what, but they had a contest where if you won, you got a gold version of that cartridge, and that's the one that's like goes for 5 digits, 6 digits, probably at this point, I think. Both versions have a, oh, you know, I was going to, can I do this live? Let's see. Well, that didn't really work out. No, I can't really do it without putting you in the dark for a while. Wait. Maybe I can. If I were better at this, I could. Yeah. That's the game. Anywho, they have dip switches like on the actual carts that I guess you could use to set the time limit, because you had 6 minutes and 21 seconds to do these 3 games. So that's the deal. That's why I don't know how far I'm going to get, because I have to first play Super Mario Brothers and I have to get 50 coins. There's kind of a, I did see there's like a trick to do it a little bit faster than how you would normally do it, just playing straight through the level. Then you got to play Rad Racer, which before I started preparing for this, I had never played. So Rad Racer, definitely the weak link in my chain here, because you honestly don't even score that many points from those 2 games. The multiplier goes up as you get to the successive games, but really it's like 20 times 25 for the Tetris game. So it's not straight up normal NES Tetris. Again, it does look like it, but there's some things that kind of forces you to do. You start at level 0, levels go up every 5 lines, just right out the gate. And strangely enough, this is the most interesting part to me. The RNG, the random number generator, basically what decides what piece you get, it doesn't cycle every time. So it's apparently seeded based on the Super Mario Brothers section, so the first section that I'll play, and it's only cycled when pieces are selected. So that means technically that the piece sequence is fixed given what I score on the Super Mario Brothers level, which is very interesting. I feel like if you could play this enough, maybe you could, if you could hit a certain score, then you could technically decide and know what pieces you're going to get in the Tetris portion ahead of time. I don't know if that's any more of a technique rather than just doing the first 2 things as fast as possible so that you can get a crazy amount of points on the Tetris version. I think that's probably just the way to do it. Either way, I'm not going, you'll see. Again, to give you an idea of what the qualifiers were, 175,000 points at least to get into the next level, 200,000 points at least to get to the actual world championships, which were held in Universal Studios, which I did. That's like one of the things I most remembered. In fact, it was held in the theater, which is now the DreamWorks Theater. Used to be the Shrek 4D Theater. It's the one on the upper lot, not like if you're going to Universal, there's the kind of public theater outside the park. This is inside the park. There's a theater that they used to be a Shrek ride, amongst other things, but mainly a Shrek ride, and is now the DreamWorks Theater, where they do kind of, I don't know if it's still 4D. Honestly, when we go to Universal, it's not our first stop. It's not our second, not our third. We usually don't go. I think we've been once during we've had at least 2 or 3 season passes, and don't currently hold at this point. So, anywho, I'll save this one for. I was going to give you what the actual world records are at this point, but I'll save that for later just to show you. What if I shut up and get to the game at this point, huh? Let's put this. Oh, and there. Yeah. Speaking of which, there was a a little bit of an emulation hiccup. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that okay, no, I do not need to go into that much detail, but dumping cartridges is not just as easy as hitting a button. You have to choose the mapper, which I don't fully understand, but apparently this one has a unique mapper that isn't supported by some emulators. But I also think that people have been confused a little bit along the way, because this has a very interesting, I can see why they would do it, especially, live in the moment. But the game doesn't start until you hit start on the second controller. So if you imagine in like a competition setting, you'd have the kid there sitting at the Nintendo, and you'd have somebody there ready to start the game for him, rather than have the kid start it accidentally or prematurely. So that, once I figured that out, was great. Although there were some emulators I noticed that didn't start at the title screen like this one. In fact, I'm just on my analog pocket here because luckily, obviously I had this whole bit where I'm like, and now it's time to, and I pull out not this cartridge, because there's no way I could afford this cartridge in any form, even the gray one. So there were some emulators that, for whatever reason, just like skip this intro screen completely. Not sure what the deal is there necessarily, but I found one on the Pocket. It was, gosh, if I went back, I could show you which one it was. I think it was the spiritualized emulator. So give that a shot if you haven't already. There's 3 that the Pocket supports, or that at least mine comes with, that are the default, which I think is also a spiritualized, I'm not sure. And then there's another one that they do, and then there's an analogizer emulator. None of those worked great, so go with this one if you got to. But I've also heard that if you're like a Nestopia guy, this works just fine. But you're going to need a second controller either way, because I'm just making sure I'm ready here. Again, talking lots of preamble, but once I hit start, there's kind of no going back here. So, I mean, there is. We'll probably go back and try it twice. But once again, give me a little leeway here. You ready? Here we go. I did have to sharpen my Super Mario Brothers skills here a little bit. You get 99 guys, so you functionally can just go through. Oh gosh. I jumped! For all you classics out there. I don't even know why I'm wasting time on that. Okay, here we go. There we go. Because you gotta go down here. See, this would already be like a game-ending run, probably. Can't take this much time. You can do this. This is supposedly the one way to do it. Is you just keep going until you get the 50 coins. It will take you to World 1, 2. In fact, I think the warp pipes are still in effect, so I could just keep playing this as long as I didn't get 50 coins. Oh, didn't want to do that. Wanted to kill myself. And now I've killed all of the enemies. This is the possible. Okay. Okay, we'll play this twice. Don't worry. This isn't the best I can do. Essentially, this is the quicker way. If you just keep coming here and farming this little block and then dying. Which, see, that time, I shouldn't have done. I could have got the remaining 6 quickly, or more quickly than doing this again. But whatever. Rad Racer's gonna be worse. Believe me. I think it's cool, though, that this cart's out there, that somebody did decide to dump it, both for preservation, but also because, you know, you get to play Nintendo Championships here a little bit. Can't remember which button goes. It's this one. So not much to Rad Racer. It does appear to be kind of Nintendo's outrun for the most part. But it took me a few games to realize I could hit the gas by pushing forward. Honestly, the only thing you have to watch out for are the cars. You know, you can successfully brake along the turns, but if you even touch a car, it like swings your car out wildly in either direction, like that. Luckily you don't like crash, but you really can't touch them or you're screwed. And they'll swerve over like that, and I don't have like that memorized, so you know, I could have sat watching videos for hours upon minutes, you know, and memorize what these cars actually do. But instead, I thought I would wing it and then play 2 seconds of Tetris for Tetris Tuesdays at 10. Probably a way to do this without breaking also, obviously. See that guy? It's like they're trying to hit you. What game was that? Was that... I want to say Grand Theft Auto, but I'm not really... Which one would that have been? Where you're like cruising along. 3 deaths is the worst I've done. Like, I haven't even been that bad. I mean, I did a lot better when I realized you couldn't boost, but... You're not playing through this while boosting, you're just not getting enough. Don't touch me. Oh, it's, was it Burnout? Might have been Burnout when I was playing those games for that video. Feels like a Grand Theft Auto thing, though. They'll swerve, you know, no car in there. I mean, I'm coming at them so fast anyways. That's good. I mean, it's the end of the level. 200 plus miles an hour. Like, nobody's going to be doing anything, let alone swerving into my direction. So, here goes. This is literally probably going to end in like a second. And the score does matter, so honestly the best way to go about it is to go for Tetrises, but I have a feeling I'm barely going to be able to build up in time to even get one of those before it's over. Yeah, see? And here's my score. 76,000. So again, if 175,000 was the barrier to entry, I was not beating anybody in any age bracket in 1990, which, to be clear, all of the people that did fantastic and went all the way were all much younger than I am right now. So even in my best day, I don't know that I could have competed. So that's that. We do need to reset to give it another shot, because I am going to give it another shot. Let me have another shot. Reset system. All right. So what was the 76,000? The number to beat? Again, if I just did pretty bad on the Mario section, so I'm sure we can improve there, but if I really practice Rad Racer at all, we might be in a better situation here. Don't. I will admit, so I'm not doing the video out on the analog here. Normally that would be the way to go, because then there's no delay between the device and the capture card. But I'm just playing literally off of the OBS screen, so there's a bit of a delay. It's not crazy. How did I even manage that? That's like speedrunners should take note of that. Wow. Turtle has not started coming. So because I did that, I need to die again. I think the timer does run. Oh gosh. The timer does run while the screens are up too. There's a version of this on, or at least there's, dang it, Just force a habit. It's okay. I don't need to die anymore now. So if I do, you know it's a mistake. I almost jumped right in the pit immediately. I still think that was probably better than the first time around, but could be even better. See, you only get 10,000 points for doing that right off, you know. All right, Rad Racer. Oh, I was going to say there is a version of this on Nestopia. Probably other emulators too. And I don't know if it's a version of the game or if it's just like you can do this with anything, but it'll literally count off the 6 minutes and 20 seconds in the bottom left-hand corner. Huh. Kind of nailed that dude and it didn't send me flying for whatever reason. That guy too, actually. Oh, that time I went flying. That time I went. Stop! Holy moly! I'm still in it. Didn't send me flying again. It's like if I hit him at full speed, it actually gives me a little bit of leeway. Not that time. Break, break, break. I was never a big racing game guy, honestly, from even this early on. Like, just we didn't... I remember Pole Position on the Atari 2600. I should play that again. That's been a while. After that, I can't remember a single NES racing game that I... okay, well. NES racing game that I played. Spy Hunter? That's like not a racing game. Certainly not like this. But that's like the only one I remember, like, car-focused game for the Nintendo that I even kind of gave the time of day to. I am curious, you know, like, what's the progression to Rad Racer? Do you upgrade your vehicle at all? That was my best Rad Racer run that I've ever done. So, see if I can get Tetris. That will probably be the best Tetris run I've ever done. I am using the 8-bit controller here. Oh no, I want that there. So I can't really blame anything on that. It's a fantastic controller. Hey, I did. I got a Tetris. That would have been funny if it ended before I even got that piece in, but it didn't. Might I get 2? If I got 2, this would definitely be the best Tetris attempt I've ever made. Nope. Probably should have just been getting lines. Hey, I broke the 100,000 mark though, right? That's something. That qualifies me for what is the sub-city level championship for this thing, I wonder. But what are we doing? Haven't even hit the 30 mark yet. Let's give it one more shot. One more shot. See how it goes. I'm right into it. I'm warm. Hi, Karina. It's my sister. My sister in the chat. You probably played. So there was one other sibling between us two. But you probably still played this. This is probably still your time period-ish. Well, not this, you know, championship thing deal that I'm playing, but Super Mario Brothers. That was a game we did have for our own Nintendo. That That was on purpose, just so you know. Yes. Yes, she totally played that. The reason I keep, also on purpose, it's a thing. This has to be like a common technique, but at one point I figured out, you know, because the Super Mario Brothers is a pretty sluggish game, and honestly still is. It still feels a little bit weird compared to like every and any other platformer. But I figured out that I just had to hold down the run button the whole time. I'm not as good at it as I am. Ooh, nice. So that worked out perfect. That's 50. Super Mario 3 and World was my favorite. Yeah, well, you are correct. Those were the big ones. The biggest and the bestes. I mean, somebody's probably disagreeing with that somewhere, but for my money. That was an early idea for the streaming I was going to do for, this channel. Just go back and do a video game history stream, but for me, you know, like I remember playing this game, and then I played this game, and then I played this game. Just play those games every week, but I like this idea better, because again, never played these games before. Especially Round Racer. But certainly all the Tetris games as well. What am I topping out at? 255? So that might be what it is. If I hit these cars while I'm in the middle of letting off the gas or braking, it's a little bit more forgiving. Just like in real life. Oh, I don't have to hold down on the boost. I just top out at 255 and then it's actually nice. I feel like I'm concentrating on less things. Oh, cheap! That dude swerved. I don't know how they can even see me coming at 255 miles an hour. It's probably still my best run of Road Racer. So I'm pegged at 255 here. Nice! Yeah, still my best one. It's kilometers, sir. Oh, is it? Was that a kilometers? Interesting. Foreigners. Your kilometers. So that feels like the same start pieces that I got, not the very last time I played, but the time before that, so. Also, I'm getting way too many lines already. I'm gonna need those later. 3? Come on! Alright, 1 Tetris. I'm at least doing as well as I did last time. I don't know where to put that. And this is gonna be ugly. Oof. That's bad. There's a line. Hey, I leveled up. No, that's the wrong one. Ah! Hey, yeah, so still better than last time, but if I hadn't have messed up and maybe got another Tetris in there, I'd really be looking pretty. But yeah, you can see the multiplier on the Tetris level is like where it's at. Obviously, you're making all the points. Like all of the world records, like I mentioned, by the way. So, to really give you an idea, this is from twingalaxies.com. They kind of keep a lot of gaming world records, if not all of them. But Mega Retro Man is holding the record over there at 5,352,200 points. So not quite for me. My nephew just said, he's gonna fail. How did he know? Was he talking about the Tetris portion, or also is he referring to the game? Or, okay. But yes, so obviously I'm not getting anywhere near 5 million points, but maybe with a little practice, I could crack 12 or 120,000. Oh yeah, that's 100,000, yeah, still. I still feel like I'd be playing this for a long time to even get 175,000 to qualify for the semifinals there on a city level. So we'll say that's good enough for now. Yes, he was watching Tetris, my nephew, right before you died. Amelia told me to say Ryan's World. You'll rue the day I found you live. No, I won't, because so far you can rule the chat room. The Tetris Tuesdays see a bump kind of after the fact. I don't know if it's the 10 a.m. during, actually, well, there, a lot of people probably still out of school at this point. I know my kids are, but the 10 a.m. Work day time, it doesn't really bring in all the viewers, but after the fact, you can go back and watch them, and the numbers do go up. So either way, I appreciate anybody that shows up, even my sister in the chat, even my nephews. Ryan's World. This is not since I am on YouTube for copyright. Homeschool crowd. That's right. I forget that part of the family is big into homeschooling. Not still on break though. Don't you get to decide that? Do the extra long California break. Come on. But yes, this is not strictly speaking Ryan's World. I'm not allowed to say that, but strangely enough, the younger members of my family picked up on that very early on, that my name was the same as that. And hey, if I'm going to pull in viewers based on that, even accidentally, I'm all for it. So come back next week when I open up a toy or something like that. Or what does he do? Ride on one of those like red and yellow play school cars with my feet. I don't know. No, next week will actually be, it's getting weird around here on Tetris Tuesday. The actual next one is Tetris for the Microsoft Entertainment Pack for Windows, which I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that was a port, something that was just packed in that's already been out. So I've got some studying to do. But after that, you're looking at the Tetris Game Watch, which I kind of mentioned this before. I thought was maybe a Tetris game and watch, like those little handheld Nintendo things that they used to have, which I thought would be fun. Like, I've been looking at a lot of stuff on eBay. I'm like, I could look, how much does this go for? I think there might still be a Tetris Game and Watch, but it's not. This is not what that's referring to. It's referring to a literal Tetris Game Watch, like a watch that you wear that has Tetris on it. So I looked it up on eBay. It's not that bad, honestly. I don't know if it's worth it, I guess, at this point. So if not that, I have to figure out what Tetris for the Canon J is, or Tetris Rupo. So lots of studying to do. No idea what the next one will be for next week, but it will be a Tetris. I will play it, and with any luck, I will score more than 100,000 points. I don't know. I don't even know what the scoring's like on Tetris for the most part. Not something I pay attention to, but if you too would like to be a part of that, you can always support me over on patreon.com/Ryan_runs_ like the weird homeschooled crowd over here, my sister. And if the subscription model isn't your thing, there's a PayPal link somewhere not far from where you're at that'll just give you kind of a tip jar bit. I haven't looked into the other methods. I know there's go buy me a coffee. Not big coffee drinkers around here, so I know that doesn't matter when it comes to that site necessarily, but certainly hasn't been nothing. So Either way, thanks. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of the above. And we'll see you next week.